it's Tina and I'm back. And I hope you guys are all doing great. So if you are back as well, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I am so happy to see you. How are you? Everything all right? You good? I hope so. And if you're new, welcome to the Fancy Fam. If you like what you see and you want to hang out for a bit, hit the subscribe button. But if you're just here for this one video, it's still fine. I'm still happy you're here. So today we are talking about the new SoftSculpt collection from Makeup by Mario. So this is a brand that was created by Mario Denavanovic, who is the makeup artist for Kim Kardashian. That's what he's best known for. But he's also a well-known makeup artist. He does makeup for a ton of celebrities, and he recently launched his collection with Sephora. And I have picked up his eyeshadow palettes. I have some of his eyeshadow bases. I love most of the products that I've picked up from him. So when he released this face collection, I was like, all right, let me go ahead and pick up a few of the items to test them out for you guys and to, you know, give you my review on them and my final thoughts. Now, this is gonna be an extremely long video. You can already tell by the timestamp on this video, right? I know. So what I'm gonna do is leave timestamps down below, breaking up this video into each of the individual parts and topics and sections. So if you want to jump around or jump to the section that you're most interested in, then feel free to navigate that as you will. But I'm going to go through all the products that I picked up, and I picked up a product from each of the different categories. So in this collection, we have the SoftSculpt Shape and Stick. There's 6 shades included. I picked up 2 of the shades. We have the Soft Pop Blush Stick, 6 shades again included. I picked up 2 shades. You have the SoftSculpt Bronzer, also in 6 shades. I picked up 1 shade. The Soft Pop Powder Blush in 5 shades, which I picked up just 1 of those. We have the SoftGlow Highlighter, which is also in 5 shades. Picked up only 1. And then we have 3 dual-ended brushes, which I didn't pick up any of those. So we have quite a lot to go through. Again, strap in, grab your snacks if you're gonna watch this in one go. I truly appreciate it. But I wanted to make sure that I included demos and showed you the application of each of these products. So that's what we're going to get into. But I'm gonna give you a rundown of the product details and pricing as well as the packaging. Then we'll do the demos, and then I'll wrap up with my final thoughts. So should we get into it? I think we should, because it's gonna be a long one. So I'm gonna start out by showing you all the products and the packaging. When we get into the demonstration, I'll talk about price point and sizing information, as well as the details of each of the individual products. And the way Mario kind of navigated this collection is by including shades from light to deep dark. So all these different lines have 6 or 5 shades, and they all have a corresponding shade range that they would be best suited for. So if you're a light skin tone, you would go for the lighter shades, and then if you're deep dark, you would go for the deep dark shades. And we have shades mixed in for medium, tan, and dark skin as well. Of course, the blush shades are a little bit more versatile, right? Different shades can cross a spectrum of skin tones. So one shade may be suitable for tan, deep, and dark skin, and then another shade may range from light to dark. So it just depends on what you're interested in when it comes to the blush shades, and also the highlighter shades. Again, if you want a really blinding highlight, even though you're dark skin, you might go for the lightest shades. But as far as the bronzer and the sculpting sticks, those are specific for the shade ranges that they're meant for. So you wouldn't necessarily go for the deep dark shade if you're light, right? The medium shades can kind of cross over, but of course he lays them out perfectly so you can know which shades go with your skin tone, so he takes the guessing game out of it, which I really appreciate. The boxes that these products come in are the signature Makeup by Mario packaging, just basic black with all the information printed on in white, and you have all the ingredient details as well as the manufacturing details on these boxes, and you have sizing information as well as where these are made. And I'll just run through where each of these products are manufactured. So the SoftSculpt Shape and Stick is made in Italy. The Soft Pop Blush Stick is made in the USA. The SoftSculpt Bronzer is made in Italy. The Soft Pop Powder Blush is made in the USA. And then the SoftGlow Highlighter is also made in the USA. So the packaging is all signature makeup by Mario. It is an all white packaging with his logo on the front, and then on the back you have a white label with black writing and all the product details, sizing, shade name, and manufacturing details. Which when I first saw the packaging, I thought, oh my god, this looks really cheap. It looks flimsy. I don't want it. I'm not really interested. And then once I picked up the products and started using them, I'm like, actually, they don't feel cheap. They feel a little bit sleeker, a little bit more weighted than I expected them to feel initially seeing them in the basic packaging. Now the packaging is very basic, and I'm not in love with it because they get dirty so quickly. Oh my god. I have blush color all over the white, so I'm constantly wiping them down because I hate seeing makeup on my packaging. That's just me. I'm not into dirty makeup brushes. I'm not into dirty packaging. So I'm just constantly wiping foundation smudges off this packaging. So that is somewhat of a pain in the butt. And then the label on the back gets a little bit dirty as well, and it has lint all around the sticky edges. So I don't love that about the packaging, but it's not quite as cheap looking as I initially expected. The compacts are magnetized, which I think is a great touch. There are mirrors in each of the compacts that you can use for application, which I guess makes it worth it for a face product, but I just wish more brands would do away with mirrors and just include really sleek, simple packaging. And they open really easily, so it's not too strong of a magnet where you're going to be struggling with them. And then the blush sticks and SoftSculpt sticks are the same packaging, again, black and white tubes, and they get really messy as well. So the tubes have a label on the bottom with the shade name, but here's the thing, they're dual ended. So on the opposite end you do have a small brush, and you can use that for your product blending and application. But if you mix up the caps, you can mix up what product you have inside. So just be a little bit mindful of that. If you have multiples of these, you might end up swapping the caps around, so just keep that in mind. But I mean, it's easy to figure out which cap goes with which shade. But I think the tubes feel pretty nice in the hands. Again, they're a thicker tube. They're not really too lightweight. They feel substantial in the hands. And the little brush applicator is also pretty functional. I do like it. I like that it's included. I personally will use my own brushes to apply and blend these products, but I think it's a nice touch to have the brush included, and it is removable, so you can clean it. It's not just stuck on there where you're like, oh my god, how do I clean this and get all the product out? It is removable, so you can wash and clean these and leave them to dry before snapping them right back onto the end of the tube, and they lock in place with a snap-in feature. The drawback of this brush though is that you kind of have to maneuver it a little bit to get it to go back into the cap without splaying the bristles. It's a little bit tricky, but the bristles are a little bit shorter, so it's not as much of a problem as I anticipated. But you can end up splaying the bristles just a little bit. But like I said, they're shorter, so that doesn't become too much of an issue with them getting pinched in the cap or anything. But just something to keep in mind, that when you're placing it back inside the cap, it can be a little bit of a tricky angle it this way, position it just right to get it inside the cap without damaging the brush itself. So now that we've gotten all those details out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the demonstration. Again, I'm going to apply all these products, but we're also going to go through the swatches, but I'm also going to give you the product details as far as sizing and pricing goes, as well as read you through the product information, and I'll also give you swatches on my arm. So let's go ahead and jump right into the demonstration. Alright guys, let's go ahead and apply these different products to the skin, and we're going to see how these different shades and colors translate on my skin tone specifically, because I have warm undertones. I lean mostly neutral, but I do have strong golden undertones as well, and we're also going to see how these products apply and blend and work on the skin. And I would say I have combination oily skin, leaning mostly oily, and I'm going to apply these products as usual 2 different different ways. On bare skin, so we're just wearing moisturizer, and then on the other side I have a light layer of foundation, but this time I didn't set my skin at all with any powder. So this is just a light layer of a skin tint, just to see how these products will apply and blend over more of a complexion type product like a foundation or a tinted moisturizer versus bare skin. And we're gonna start out with the SoftSculpt Shape-In Sticks. The SoftSculpt Shape-In Stick comes in 6 shades ranging from light to deep dark, and it retails for $28, and it contains 0.37 ounces or 10.5 grams of product. And it says here that it is a dual-ended cream shape-in stick that is buildable and swipes on seamlessly for true to skin definition that dries down to a natural matte finish. This dual-ended shape-in stick combines Mario's signature contour technique into one product that creates an effortless, softly sculpted look. The shades complement complexions regardless of undertone and are never orange or muddy. They also feature a removable angled buffing brush for effortless application. The intended usage life for this product is 18 months. And I have 2 of the shades available. I have medium dark and dark, and medium dark says it's meant for medium to medium dark skin tones, and it's neutral and leans slightly warm. And then for the dark shade, this is for medium dark to dark skin tones, and it's also neutral and leans slightly warm. Now I'll pop in the swatches of these 2 shades on my arm so you can see the different colors up against each other. I think the medium dark shade leans very neutral, while the dark shade seems to have a little bit more warmth to it. And here you can see the difference in depth between the 2 shades as well as the undertone. I think the medium to dark shade will work well on me for a contour shade, not necessarily for a bronzing tone, but the dark shade I feel like can go in between. It can be a bronzer or it can be a contouring shade. And I'll just blend these out on my skin so you can kind of get an idea of the texture and the finish of these shades. They are creamy, but they're not really a thin consistency. They're lightweight, but they have a thicker consistency. So they're not just going to blend completely away in one go. They do have some substance to it. So you do have to move them around to get them to blend, but they move around easily and allow you to blend them out without sticking down to the skin or drying down too quickly, because they have some slip to them, a little bit of emollients, but they do dry down to more of a natural matte finish. So we're gonna start out with the medium dark shade, and I'm going to follow the application instructions here. So it says, smile softly to find the high point of your cheekbone, then apply the shape-in stick along the cheekbone. Don't go too close to your smile line. To keep the application lifted, tap and blend with the built-in brush. So I just did a couple of swipes on my cheekbone, and it glides on pretty nicely on both sides. And then he says to tap and blend, so don't do buffing or circular motions, just tap and blend. And this color for me is pretty light. It is not really that pigmented at all. It does give a nice shadow to the skin. It has more of a neutral undertone indeed. You can see the shadow that it creates, definitely. You'll see on the just moisturizer side. I like that. And then on the foundation side, it blended even more seamlessly, and it says it's also buildable. So I am going to swipe a little bit more to see if we can get some more coverage, and just tap again to build it up and blend it out. This blends really easily. It is tapping out and blending effortlessly, and I really like that. So I definitely see the shadowing that it creates. It also says that you can sculpt or warm up the forehead and jawline by dabbing any excess product onto the temple area or along the jawline and blend. So should we try that? I think this color is a little bit more on the neutral side, so it's not necessarily going to be a bronzer shade for me, but we'll try it anyway on the jawlines and a little bit on my temples, even though I don't expect this to be like a bronzer shade, but it is a sculpting shade. And it says the 5 nubs within the head of the brush centralize the product pickup for a more even fluid application. And I do agree that this brush is blending things really nicely, and I'm just tapping and blending rather than buffing. And it's moving the product nicely. Let me see if I can, yeah, it doesn't really work when you buff because it's so short and stubby, but it definitely works with the tap and blend technique. It blends out really quickly, really easily, and I think this looks pretty nice. But again, I would consider this a light sculpting shade on my skin tone rather than like a bronzer. And let's try it on the nose area, because this is where I would use a shade like this because it is so lightly pigmented and it's a cool tone neutral shade. And I'm just gonna use my Anissa Beauty angled concealer brush to blend this color out on my nose instead, because that brush is just too large. And I think, yeah, this would be my perfect nose contour shade. So you see, there's a little sculpt there, but not too much. And if I was probably going in for a light contour, this would work as well, even as a base to a stronger contour. But the color is very light. I do like that it's not strongly gray though. It's neutral, but it's not too gray or ashy. So it gives me the sculpt and shadowing without being too casket ready, and I really do like that. For this color, again, I wouldn't necessarily use it to sculpt and bronze because it's very light, as you can see. But I can use it in places where I want subtle definition, subtle sculpting, such as the bridge of my nose. So here you have it. I'll insert the before and after so you can see how it looks on my skin and see the sculpting effect that it gives. And I think it's a very, again, subtle sculpt, nothing too extreme. And this is what Mario is into, a very subtle look, but I think the dark shade is gonna work better for me. This is definitely better suited for medium dark skin tones or more of a light tan rather than like a deep tan skin tone like I have. All right, so we're moving on to the next shade, and I removed all the product from my face. Again, moisturizer on this side and foundation on this side, not set with powder. And we're going to go in with the dark shade now, which I'm very excited about. So Slide Smile, follow the cheek, ooh, that is pigmented. And you saw the difference between the two shades when I showed you them swatched out. So you know that this shade is definitely deeper and richer. And I think this will work better for me as a bronzer shade. So it can double as a bronzer and a contour. So we're gonna go in with the brush side. And again, it's tap and blend. And let's see how easily this blends out. This is a deeper, richer shade, so you can definitely see the blending a little bit better with this shade. The tapping and blending is working. Again, the product kind of moves pretty easily, so I can see myself using my regular brush for this rather than the brush that's included. But since the brush is included, why not use it? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's do the moisturizer side only. And tap, 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 tap. Ooh, that is a rich shade, child. So I'm gonna blend my hairline as well because I don't want the product to start drying down before I get a chance to blend. So we're gonna move pretty quickly with this. It doesn't dry down right away, but it definitely dries down and you're gonna have to work a little bit harder to blend. So I'm just tapping and blending, but I'm finding with this shade, I need to buff a little bit because I've had the product on my skin for a longer time than the other one, which I went right in and started blending. So you might want to move a little bit quickly or not apply all the product all at once. Just build and go. Do one step at a time. This shade is definitely giving me more of a sculpt and a little bit deeper of a bronze, which I appreciate, and it's definitely a color that I like. There's a little bit of redness to it though. It's not yellow, it's not orange, but there's a little bit of cool undertone to it. And it's moving and blending pretty quickly. This I would definitely not wear with moisturizer only. It's too rich right now. It looks too intense, or maybe I just need to go really light-handed. But on foundation, it blends a little bit more because it has a cream product to blend in with. So I think it looks better on the foundation side. The other shade, the medium dark shade, looked good on both sides, but I feel like on the foundation side for this one, it blends a little bit more effortlessly and seamlessly. Or I could just go in with less product. So there you have the product applied. I'm going to go in with my regular sculpting brush just to blend around the edges. I wouldn't necessarily always use the brush that's included, but it's nice that it is included so you don't have to get a separate brush. But if you already have one, like, go in with what you're comfortable with. It's still blending out. It moves nicely, but it doesn't feel sticky or like, yeah, it doesn't feel moist. It doesn't feel too emollient. It's dried down a bit. So I like this color. I like how it blends. So let me pop in the before and after so again you can see what this looks like on my skin. As you can tell, this is a richer shade than the medium dark shade, and I'll probably insert those up against each other right after this so you can see the comparison of the two shades. But this shade, it does bronze and sculpt my skin, so I can use it as a bronzer shade because it has a little bit more richness to it. It has a slightly cool undertone, a slightly reddish undertone, which works to give you a nice bronze to your skin. And as you can see from the application, it definitely can be layered up to give you more pigmentation because I blended and buffed to get it to look this subtle. But starting out, you could definitely get the color payoff and the pigmentation if you had a richer skin tone. So here you have the dark shade. Let me pop in the two shades against each other so you can see the difference in undertones and again, the difference in the shades. So we have the medium dark shade again and the dark shade, which both of these shades are meant to be used for darker skin. The medium dark shade is for medium to medium dark skin tones, and then the dark is from medium dark to dark skin tones. So it should overlap for medium dark skins, which I consider myself to be a medium dark, leaning more dark. So my go-to shade would of course be the dark shade, but I think the medium dark shade can also work to give me a nice sculpt to the skin. So here you have it. I think both sides applied really well for the moisturizer side or the foundation side. I think it blended pretty well on both sides, and once I got it completely blended out, it looks pretty seamless on both sides. Over the foundation, it's gonna be a little bit more seamless because again, it's mixing in with another cream foundation product versus like plain bare skin. But it blends out and looks seamless on the moisturized side even though I don't have another complexion product. It is just blending in with my natural skin tones. So I think it would work great in either situation, whether or not you use complexion products or you don't. Alright, so now it's time for the Soft Pop Blush Sticks. So the Soft Pop Blush Stick also comes in 6 shades. It retails for $28 as well and contains the same 0.37 ounce of product or 10.5 grams. And each of the 6 shades corresponds to a certain skin tone depth. So again, they're going to be shades that are recommended for light skin tones, medium skin tones, and deeper, darker skin tones. So you can check out which shades are recommended for your specific skin tone and stay within that range, or you can mix it up. Like, who's gonna stop you? Choose what you want to choose. So it says here, this dual-ended blush stick offers sheer buildable coverage with a dewy finish in a moisturizing formula ideal for all skin types. This easy-to-use cream blush is Mario's favorite way to apply a healthy flush of color to the cheeks and leave skin looking naturally radiant. The emollient infused formula feels comfortable all day and offers a fresh, dewy finish with no oily sensation. The intended usage life for this product is 18 months. So again, I picked up 2 shades of this product. I picked up Earthy Pink and Raspberry, which are meant for medium dark skin tones. And I'll pop up the swatches so you can see these different shades. So Earthy Pink is described as a blushing rose, and Raspberry is described as a bright pink. And again, these apply pretty nicely on my arm and blend out pretty seamlessly and pretty effortlessly. You can get full-on pigmentation though. These are very poppy in color, so I'm going to just go lightly with these shades at first, and then we'll build it up and see how buildable the application is and how blendable as well. And I'm gonna start out with the shade Earthy Pink. Oops, wrong side, that's the brush. So this also comes with a brush, and I'm going to just pop that on my cheeks. I'm just gonna do little dotting motions rather than a swipe. I don't know, the swipe to me drags a little bit because the product is a little bit stiffer even though it's emollient. So my recommendation would be to do a tap-in motion like I just did and applied way too much on that side. and then blend it out with the tap blend motion that he recommends in his usage. Again, it says to smile softly and find the apples of your cheek and apply the blush stick to the higher part of the apples towards the hairline and blend outward toward the hairline with the built-in brush. So I'm just going to keep tapping and blending like we did with the Sculpt shade, and it says to blend towards your hairline area. And I think that blends pretty easily and pretty quickly. And I have full-on pigmentation on this side, which is why I was like, you know what, let me start out light because I don't know what to expect. This shade is more of a true pink shade. It doesn't give me rosy pink, it's just pinky pink. It's still blending out nicely on the moisturized side as it did on the foundation side, but I see more color payoff on the moisturized side because on this side it's kind of blending in with my foundation. So since we have that, why not try to layer it up and just see how much color we can get from this. So I'm gonna go back in, just do tapping motions again to get product on my cheek, and then I'm just gonna lightly tap this now instead of doing like intense tapping to get the color to pop up. The color looks smooth and even, doesn't look patchy at all. It's not like a heavy color, it does share out. So if you wanted a lighter color payoff, you could definitely achieve that. And I think it looks healthy and dewy on the skin. You see that shine? Yeah, it definitely gives a glow to the skin, but there's no shimmer or glitter. This is like a true cream formulation, but it has a glossy sheen to it. So here you have the shade Earthy Pink, and it's a pretty color. It's actually a pink that I would wear. I do like it. I see the rosy undertone now, but it definitely does lean strongly pink on my skin tone. So I like it. Y'all let me know what you think of this color. All right, time for the raspberry shade. So I'm gonna start on the moisturized side. Tap this on again. That, you know what? I'm not gonna go in too heavy because we learned from the last time. This is pigmented, a little bit goes a long way. It does share out a little bit more over my foundation, and I'll go in again with the brush side and tap that out. Ooh, yeah, that color is pretty. This is more along the line of how I would apply this blush, like not pulling it all the way all over my whole cheek. Like I don't need like a full pink cheek. This is a pretty color. It does look, yeah, it looks pinker. It looks more on the pink side than the Earthy Pink. The Earthy Pink has definitely, I see the rosy undertone. When I see this shade now, this is definitely pink. This is like, what would you say, like a watermelon pink. It has a little bit of coral to it, but it is definitely a pretty pink shade on my skin tone. I like it a little bit better on the foundation side. This side I feel like I shared out too much. So I'm going to apply a little bit more. You can still swipe with this product. It's smooth enough, it's creamy enough to swipe, but I prefer to tap. But maybe the swipe is okay too because it didn't really pull on my skin. So I'll just tap and blend this out. So it definitely is buildable, again, but blendable. So I'll just blend out the edges and leave the pronounced color on the cheeks. Ooh. Okay, still a sheer color payoff as you would expect from a cream blush. You don't want it to be opaque like an eyeshadow, right? Come on now. But this is so pretty too. And again, it blends out really easily without being patchy or too sheer. And I can build it up and layer it up, and you can see the glow that it leaves behind. It actually looks shinier on the foundation side than the moisturizer side, which is interesting. And it doesn't feel tacky at all. Wait, on the foundation side, it hasn't dried down completely yet. It feels a little bit tacky. Oh, as I go over it with my fingers, it does pick up a little bit, so there's gonna be some transfer if you don't set this down. But Yeah, it still looks pretty on the skin. I think it's a great color. And let's go ahead and pop up the two shades now side by side so you can see the comparison and see which shades you prefer. Maybe you don't want both of these, maybe you just want pink, and you can see how it translates on my skin tone and maybe use it as reference for yourself. So now it's time for the Soft Pop Powder Blush. So this retails for $24. It contains 0.16 ounce of product or 4.4 grams, and it is available in 5 different shades. Again, you're gonna have shades that are suitable for light to deep skin tones, and I picked up a single shade of this. So this says it's a long-lasting silky powder blush that is super blendable and gives an instant pop of color to your cheeks, brightening and lifting your complexion. This luxe silky formula glides on, layers well over cream, and blends effortlessly. It is infused with micronized clay to restore radiance and a patented polymer for long-lasting color and comfort. So the shade I got is Poppy Pink, which is described as a vibrant pink, and this was recommended for medium dark to dark skin tones. So I'm going to apply this on the foundation side again, as well as over a light layer of primer, but then I'm also going to show you this layered up over one of the cream blushes so you can see how it layers up over cream. So let's go ahead and just pick this up on a regular natural hair brush. This is a smaller blush brush. He has brushes in his line, but I didn't pick them up because I have my brushes already. I don't need any additional brushes. And it says just to sweep it on the apples of your cheeks. There's nothing to this. And it applies pretty nicely on the foundation side. Let's see how it applies on the moisturizer side. That is also pretty. This is a beautiful, like, vibrant poppy pink. It is like a raspberry pink almost. It definitely is very pigmented. Like, look at that. But it is blending out really nicely. You can definitely layer this up if you want more pigmentation, or just go lightly if you don't like that color payoff, you know. But look at that. That is so smooth. It looks so smooth on the foundation side, and I didn't set with powder, so for this to be gliding over foundation like this, on-set foundation, is pretty nice, and it's blending out pretty easily as well. I don't have any harsh edges. That is stunning. I can't wait to apply this in the full face to see how everything melts together, but that color is stunning. I really like it. So let me go ahead and just show you the before and after before we get into how it applies over the cream product so you can see the color. Again, it's a really smooth color. The finish is more of a natural matte. It's not a satin, there's no glow to it, but it's also not a dry matte. I think this is a beautiful finish and a beautiful color. I am low-key interested in the other shades, but swatching them in store, I wasn't interested in the other colors. They didn't look like they would show up too intensely, but now I'm reconsidering. All right, now I'm gonna layer the powder blush over the cream blush because it says you can do it that way. So we're gonna see how this applies. So I have on my cheeks the raspberry shade, and we're gonna go in with Poppy Pink just to see how this applies. And I'm picking this up on a soft natural hair brush. I haven't set my skin down. This is just directly over the cream blush, and I'm just gonna lightly tap and blend the color. It is definitely layering up pretty nicely over the cream. It looks pretty. Ooh, so it is mattifying the cream product, which is definitely more on the glowy side. It is picking up nicely, giving it a nice color punch. It looks velvety on the skin. I was expecting it to look a little bit crepey, but it's actually applying pretty smoothly. That is good. Sometimes when you apply a blush directly over a cream product without setting it down with powder, it can get crepey, but I think this looks really nice on the skin. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see what it looks like. So here you have it. You see how the color looks very smooth? That is pretty. And then this is the foundation side. Also looks pretty smooth. So there you have it. The product is applied over cream and it looks really bold and bright. A little bit too intense for my purposes, but I just wanted to see if it would indeed layer up well over the cream, and I think it definitely does without getting patchy or looking crepey. Alright, next up is the SoftSculpt Bronzer. This also retails for $28 and it contains 0.42 ounce of product or 12 grams, which is actually pretty sizable for a bronzer. And this is described as a buildable, lightweight, multi-purpose bronzer that is perfect for creating soft definition and naturally bronzed skin with minimal fallout. This bronzer features 6 flattering neutral shades for all undertones that are never orange or muddy, and the no fallout formula also delivers a clean, natural second skin finish. However, the dark deep shade is not currently available in store or online because there is some shipping delay. At least that's what's being claimed, so they don't have this shade ready to go. It wasn't sent out in PR, it's not on Sephora, and it's not on Mario's website, so take that for what it's worth. It's up to you to decide what that means, but I picked up the dark shade, which is the one right before the dark deep, and this one is recommended for medium dark to dark skin tones, and it's neutral, leaning slightly warm. And I'm going to kind of follow the instructions here, which is the way I would normally apply bronzer anyway. So it says to sweep the shade that best defines your skin tone across the high points of your face where the sun naturally hits, so the top of the forehead, temples, apples of the cheeks, and jawline. When I do the full face, I'm going to layer up all these products together just to see how they apply and blend over the skin in a everyday full face of makeup. So I'm gonna go in with the bronzer now, and I'm just gonna pick it up on my Anissa Beauty powder brush, and ooh, we're gonna tap this on the skin. So again, we have moisturizer and then foundation. And this color, when I swatched it, I was like, I don't know how this is going to look on my skin. It doesn't really look deep enough, which is why I was interested in the dark deep shade, because I was like, oh, this is not gonna show up, but it actually is, and it is clinging to some moisturizer over here by my eyelids. Get away! So let me tap it on the foundation side. Oh yes. Actually, I just realized I forgot to apply moisturizer on this side. So this is bare skin. It's not really clinging to bare skin. So let me apply a little moisturizer. Hold on. While that settles in, let's blend it over here on the foundation side. Oh my god. All right, I wouldn't apply that much typically, but that is beautiful. Okay, I really didn't expect this color to show up, but look at that. That is pretty. It doesn't look too cool or anything. There's a little bit of gray here, so I can sculpt with it, like do a bronzer, but it's more on the warm tone side. It definitely leans more caramel. Definitely not orange though. I like that. Okay, I underestimated this color, I'm not gonna lie to you. And it's blending out and applying pretty well. And it's not like a dry matte finish, but it is more like a natural matte. Okay, Mario, points are being made. All right, let's try that again. I went in with some primer from Rare Beauty. I've actually been liking this. This is the Pore Diffusing Primer from them. I just got the smaller size. So I'm gonna go back into the bronzer. I'm gonna go in with my sculpting brush just to apply. That's what I thought. Okay, so on bare skin, it's not going to really pick up. It definitely needs a base to pick up on. So if you have a moisturizer that's more emollient, a little bit sticky, leaves behind like a little bit of something for it to cling to, it will cling to it. But if it's just plain old bare dry skin, it won't just pick up right away. But on this primer, and it looks so seamless. It doesn't look like product, you know? It looks like I'm bronzed. This is definitely a subtle bronzer that is giving me, you know what I'm saying? I look bronzed and golden. It's not too obvious on my skin, but you see it. You see the summer glow. Let me pop up the before and after so you can see this. So this bronzer is definitely giving me a golden glow, and I really like the undertone. It leans a little bit more on the neutral side, so I can bronzer with it, so I can create a little contour situation, sculpt my skin a little bit, but it also adds that warmth and summer glow. I like this. And the matte finish is more of a natural matte. It's not dry. Even on the foundation side, it doesn't look like straight up matte powder. It really blends and kind of merges and melts with my skin, which looks really nice. So I really do like this bronzer. I was apprehensive at first because I thought it was just going to be way too light and not show up on me, but it definitely does. Again, I recommend applying like an emollient moisturizer or a primer on your skin rather than just going on bare dry skin, because it won't necessarily cling to your skin in that way. Alright, now let's go in with the SoftGlow Highlighter, which also retails for $28, and it contains 0.16 ounce or 4.5 grams of product. And this one is available in 5 different shades, again ranging from light to deep, so they're going to be different shades that are going to be suitable for your skin tone depending on which range you fall into. And for me, I picked up only one shade of this. I picked up the deepest shade. So this says it's a luminous bronze infused with copper that flatters medium dark to deep skin tones. So this would be the one that pairs up with my skin tone range. And this has an expected usage life of 18 months as well. So it says here, a creamy, weightless highlighter that illuminates and visibly smooths the appearance of skin for a healthy, effortless, back from the beach glow. This ultra silky, soft focus powder melts onto the skin and blends effortlessly. It is a transparent blend of microspheres and light refracting pearls that leaves no visible powdery effects. Those are a lot of claims, okay? So it says to apply the highlighter to other features of the face like eyelids, tip of the nose, cupid's bow, and décolleté for an extra glow. Whew, okay, so I am going to apply this on my already bronzed skin, and I'm just gonna pick up a small tapered highlighter brush, and I'm just gonna pick up some of the product on the tip of the brush and go in on my cheekbones. Ooh, so this is more of a golden champagne shade for me. It's not really a light champagne. It's not really a deep bronze either. It's more of like a light bronze, and you definitely see a glow and sheen on the skin, and I can see the particles, like I can see the texture of the powder. It's not a cream, even though it says it's creamy. I'm like, what do you mean creamy? When you touch it with the fingers, it feels creamy, but it doesn't translate as a cream on the skin, but it definitely gives a beautiful glow, but I can see the particles. It doesn't really blend seamlessly as it says, but it's not as sparkly or chunky as some other highlighters, but I can still see it. Like, I'm just looking in a regular magnification mirror and I can see the actual texture. It doesn't look like really sparkly on my skin, but I can see it. Let me see if you guys can see it as well. So here it is. You can see a little bit of shine and sheen, but you can also see a little bit of the texture, because I can see it, so I'm guessing you guys can also see it too. That's the foundation side, and then here is the moisturized side. Now, it's really pretty, and this is actually a highlighter that I would wear, even though it's not exactly 100% seamless on the skin. But it's one that I would wear, even though I can kind of see it. And I think this color is actually really pretty because it looks like a skin tone shade with just some shine to it. So, yes, I like it, but it definitely isn't as seamless as they make it seem in the description, where it's like, oh my god, it's gonna melt into your skin. Yeah, it blends beautifully. It doesn't have any lines. It's not like standing out stark against my skin. It definitely does melt into the skin pretty nicely, but I can still see, you know what I mean? So all in all, I like it. I'm not in love with it because it's not my ultimate texture, but I think it is really, really gorgeous. I do really like it, but you know, I have to be in the mood for this. Alright, so we're back and we're going to use all these products in a full face application. I already have my foundation on. I haven't set my entire face with powder, just under my eyes to set my concealer down, because none of these products are going to go under my eyes, so it's fine. And I'm going to go in with the Sculpt stick in the shade Dark. And I'm going to apply that very lightly to the jawline area. And I'm going to apply these, not now to show you swatches, but as I would in normal application. So on the temple area, on my hairline, and I'll also pull a little bit of it on my jawline area, but not too much. Just a little bit to help that COVID chubby. And I'm going in with my sculpting brush from Anissa Beauty, which would be my preferred brush. I wouldn't choose to use the brush that Mario provides, even though it works well. I just prefer to use my own brushes with a long brush handle because I have more control that way. And I'm just gonna lightly tap out this color. Just like he says, is to tap and blend rather than to sweep, which is fine. I can use my own brush to do that. That is a pretty contour, right? Am I right? Look at that. That blends so beautifully over foundation. I really love the blendability of these sticks. They are really creamy, but they're not overly creamy where they leave a tacky feel behind. Ooh, yes. Look, right? And the color is gorgeous. Like, the color gives a little bit of bronze in because it has a little warmth to it, but it leans neutral so I can get sculpt from it at the same time. So I'm doing like a bronzer, and I'm pulling some of that down on my hairline to give that bronzer effect. Right? Am I tripping here? Y'all tell me if y'all are seeing what I'm seeing, but that is beautiful. I'm wearing a lightweight skin tint from Fenty Beauty. This is the Eavesdrop Blurring Skin Tint, so it's not a heavy foundation product, and I think that looks fantastic. All right, let's do some contour on the nose so I can use the medium dark shade. So I'm just gonna run that along the bridge of my nose and down the sides. Just a little bit. And again, I think this color works well for this precise application. By the way, the packaging gets dirty as hell, and I don't like that. Foundation is getting everywhere. It's just a mess. So I'm just gonna blend this out as I did before with my Anissa Beauty angled blending brush. And I don't have to do much to blend it. Like, it blends out so quickly, so easily. And the color, because it isn't like really pigmented, it doesn't look too harsh on my skin, and because of the formulation, it blends out really effortlessly. Like, look at that. You know, it gives me a little snatchy snatch, but nothing too crazy. Like, I'm not trying to be out here looking that snatched. So the cream bronzing stick, I love it so far. The finish does feel really nice. I think I do need to set my face down, but so far so good. And I think I'm gonna go, let's go in with Raspberry for the cream cheek blush. And I'm just gonna tap a little bit, again, like I would normally apply a product like this. And from the demonstration, we already know the pigmentation is there, so I don't need to do too much. And I'm just gonna blend that out with a synthetic blush brush. I'm lying to you, this is actually a blurring foundation brush from Smashbox. But it works beautifully for a cream blush, right? Like, look at that. So I'm just popping that on my cheeks, blending. She is so pretty. Like, I can buff and blur, and I just get that nice pink pop on the cheeks. And this is more of a dewy, glowy blush. And I'm not gonna apply too much because I'm going in with the powder blush in a minute. But first, let's go in with the bronzer shade. So here we have dark, and I'm just gonna pop that on the hairline area where we already have the bronzing stick, or the sculpting stick, I should say. It's not a bronzing stick. This is now gonna add the warmth to our skin. The sculpting stick gave us a little bit of sculpt and dimension, and now the bronzer will add the warmth to our skin. That's so pretty. It's really pretty. And again, I didn't expect much from this bronzer. When I initially swatched it, I was like, oh, yeah, it's lightly pigmented, it's not gonna show up. But it really does show up pretty nicely. All right, I do need to set the rest of my skin, so I'm gonna go in with my Kosas powder and a kabuki brush just to set everything down lightly. All right, now let's go into the powder blush, and we'll pop it over the cream blush. And I feel like I could have just left the cream blush by itself for a subtle effect because it still shows the color. You see, it still gives me that pink, but without being too loud. But of course, we want to do a full application of these products to see how they work together. And I think once you set the skin and then apply the blush, it's not as pigmented. Over plain old foundation or over the cream blush, ooh, child, the pigment is there. But I'm not like a serious clown blush girl. I like a subtle blush, and I think this is such a pretty color just on powdered skin. That's stunning. All right, highlighter time. Going into the bronze shade, picking up a little bit, and I'm just gonna lightly tap it on the high points of my cheeks. Again, it's not necessarily a texture that I would go to right away, but I think it's really pretty and it gives a stunning glow to the cheeks. A little bit extra texture, but that's fine. Even though it says it's blurring, it's not my go-to because you can definitely see the glitter in it, but over the blush it's a little bit more subdued. So there you have the skin, right? All right, you know what? Let's go ahead and pop in a before and after so you can see all the products applied to my skin and tell me what you guys think. And I'm going to finish up the look and apply mascara, lashes, and all that good stuff, and change my outfit too, of course, and show you the finished look. All right, guys, so here is the finished face with all the products applied. And I really love how the skin turned out with the bronzer, the sculpting product, the light touch of blush and highlight. Overall, I love how the products applied, how they all blended and melted together. So what do you guys think? Let me know, but I'm gonna go ahead now and wrap up with my final thoughts. Alright guys, so you made it through all the product information, swatching, packaging, pricing, details, all the rundown, and now we are going to go ahead and wrap up with my final thoughts. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet because there are tons of products to get through, and I think you have a pretty good idea just from the demonstrations what I thought about each of the products. So I'm going to start out with the SoftSculpt Shape and Sticks. I really like these. These are really great for applying a little bit of contour or bronze into the face. I prefer the shade dark for my skin tone because I'm able to use it as a bronzer and as a contour product, and I think these blend out really easily, really seamlessly, and give a nice look to the skin. They're not too gray, they're not too warm, they're not orange or too red. I just really like these shades on my skin tone. I can also get away with using the medium dark shade for a light sculpt if I'm going for something very lightweight. It's a little bit more on the neutral lean-in side though, but it's not strongly gray, which I appreciate. So I'm going to keep this shade as well, just to mix it in depending on how lightweight I want to go, or if I want to contour my nose, because I do go for a lighter sculpting shade when I'm contouring my nose. So overall, I do like these sculpting sticks, and I think the price point is pretty decent for the amount of product that you're getting. And you're also getting a tool, which is the brush on the end of the sculpting stick, but I would prefer not to get this and get a cheaper price point, but it's included, so I think it's a pretty decent price point for the sculpting sticks. As far as the soft pop blush sticks go, these I think are a little bit overpriced at that $28. Again, they have the little brush included, so I get the price point, but I wish these were just blush sticks that you could apply with your fingers or with any brush that you already have in your collection, or even a sponge, and drop the price point, because I think there are other cream blushes and other blush sticks on the market that you can get at a better price point that are gonna give you an equal result. They're gonna give you that dewy, beautiful finish on the skin. They're gonna blend out really nicely. These work really well. They do give you more of a glow on the skin. So if you like this kind of formulation, if you like the colors that are available, it's not a bad buy, but I just feel like you can get other cream blushes on the market for a better price point and save on these. So I like these. I like the colors that I picked up, but they're not so stellar that they're the ultimate, like you have to get these. But I do like them. I like how they layer up. I like how blush applies on top of them without getting crepey. I do like how they blend out. I like that they leave behind strong pigmentation so they don't just sheer out and disappear, so they work on deeper skin. So I do like them. I just wish the price point was a little bit cheaper. Alright, the bronzer. This guy is also $28. A little bit steeper, but still in a zone where I'm okay with that price point for Makeup by Mario products. And I think the packaging is cute and everything. I really like this color. It's what I'm wearing right now, even though I'm not wearing the full collection, and I really do like the color of it. I really like how it applies. I like how it blends. It kind of even blurs my skin just a little bit, which is really beautiful. It just blends so seamlessly on the skin. This is probably the standout product for me in the collection. I really, really love this bronzer, and I love this color on me. Even though I underestimated it, I was like, nah, it's not gonna be great, and then I was pleasantly surprised. So I really do like this bronzer. It's not orange again, but it adds warmth to my skin. It's not cool tone. It definitely gives like a warm caramel touch, and I really, really do like it. So this bronzer definitely gets a thumbs up from the finish of it alone. I just really love how blurring it is, even though I didn't quite expect that. So thumbs up, really do like that. Next up is the blush. Now the blush is really, really pretty. This I wasn't expecting too much from either, and then I applied it on its own and also over the cream blush, and it's so blurring, it's so smooth, it looks so stunning. I'm just like, oh, excuse me. So now I'm gonna check out more shades of this. I really like this blush. Again, wasn't expecting too much. With a blush, there's not much you can do to impress me, but the way this applies, the way this blends, the way this gives like an airbrush look to the cheeks when I wasn't expecting it, it's just like, even over the cream, it's just really smooth. It didn't get cakey or crepey. Stunning. I really do like these blushes. Again, very impressed, even though I wasn't expecting much. I mean, a blush, it's a color product, like what can you do for me? But that one, the formulation is really great, blends out really nicely. Again, the pigmentation is there, but you can still like blend it out, and it leaves that beautiful finish behind. It's a matte, but it's not like a dry matte. It's a beautiful airbrushed matte. Loving it. And then last up is the highlighter, which I have gone back and forth with this. It's what I'm wearing now, and the more I wear it, I've worn it a couple of times now, and the more I wear it, the more I like it. Initially, I was like, oh, I can see the texture. It's not my favorite. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, you heard me in the demonstration. And then I kept using it, and I was like, this looks so good. Like, this is my kind of highlighter. It blends and melts into the skin the longer you wear it. So up on initial application, you're like, I can kind of see you. I don't really love that. And that's not my preferred way of applying highlighter. I don't want it to be blinding. But it melts into the skin. It just blends and becomes one. And I'm just like, look at that. You're just like, oh, your skin is glowing. I'm like, yes, that's my highlighter. But you can't even tell it's my highlighter, right? I love that so much. It's so pretty. So highlighter actually really grew on me, and I am so excited to have it. I don't want another shade though. This is the deepest shade, and I think it's the perfect skin tone highlighter for me. So absolutely loving that. I wish the packaging wasn't as dirty as it is. Like, I am just wiping things down left and right, and I can't deal, okay? But overall, I think this was a good launch. I like the majority of the products that I tried out. I just think the blush sticks were the ones that, those are overpriced. But the bronzer, the highlighter, the blush, the bronzing stick, listen, okay, I like it. Mario did a good job. So I really do like the products. Let me know what you guys think. Any of these impressed you? Did you try any out? Are you interested now? Did my demonstration help? Y'all let me know what y'all are thinking, okay? The price point, again, not too bad, not too shabby. Everything is under $30. I think it's worth checking out, guys. Let me know what you think. If you check nothing else out, check out the bronzer for summer and check out the powder blushes. I highly, highly recommend those. The other products are kind of here or there. Like, do you want a sculpting stick? Are you sculpting? Do you need another highlighter? I don't know. I'm just saying, they're really pretty. So let me know what you guys think. I'll go ahead and leave links on where you can pick them up down below. They're available on the Sephora website as well as the Makeup by Mario website. And you may be able to get a discount if you sign up for emails through the Makeup by Mario website. I think you can get 10% off, but Sephora's also doing sales here or there where you can get 10% off if you do a pickup in store, or you can get $10 off of 500 points. So you can still get these at a better price point, but I think the price point is pretty decent. So let me know what you guys think. I will also leave links to my Instagram and Twitter where you can follow me along. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye, guys.